All right, check, check. 1, 2, 3. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the 2019 Summer Internships Wrap-Up Session. All right, so as I mentioned to many of you in that email, for the past 12 weeks, I've been working with roughly about 84 interns. It was quite impressive and busy operation that we had over the summer. I have a few stats that I will be running later on. But first of all, I do want to thank every single one of you who took time off of your busy schedules to come today to support the research of our students, the research of our talented faculty members, and in general, just the program in general. So thank you very much for coming, and a big round of applause from the students to the faculty, from the faculty to everyone. So everyone that has worked with me, you know that I work in a very fast pace and I have a crazy schedule, so I try to somehow mirror that same format in today's program. So it's gonna be a little crazy, so try to keep up with my crazy idea of the way that we're gonna be presenting all this research. We have 26 different projects that worked over the summer. We did something similar last summer. I decided to allow the students to go up front and present, and I think we were there for like 3 hours. So I didn't want to put you through that again, and when we came up with a new format that I'm sure that we'll be able to wrap this up in about an hour. That way you can all go back to your fun games and things that you're doing at work. But in general, once again, I do want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to my staff. Thank you for everything that you do. I wouldn't be able to do this without you guys. Thank you for all the hard work. Thank you for sometimes staying after hours. I'm not the only crazy one that stays here until late. Sometimes they do have to, pay that price of working with me. Thank you to the students. You guys did an amazing job for the entire 12 weeks. The work that you guys, performed, it was amazing. It was impressive. I am very proud to say that I work with a group of students as talented as you are. Thank you to my faculty members, all these mentors that made this possible. As much as I helped a few of the students, I was mentoring a few of the projects, I would have not been able to mentor 84 of them, 26 different projects. I would be going crazy. So without you, we wouldn't have been able to accomplish everything that we did. So once again, thank you, and thank you to the administration and everyone in the college for always supporting us, IT, buildings and grounds, everyone, something as simple as central receiving all the crazy packages that I always get and bringing them to the center. So I just want to extend my gratitude to every single one here at the college and every one of you that decided to attend today. So, thank you from the bottom of my heart.
And thank you to Louis.
That crazy guy with unrealistic expectations, right? All right, so let's get this started. First in the program, I do want to introduce you guys to a good friend of mine that now I guess we're going to be working even closer. Professor Vandelovsky, who recently became the dean. She's been one of our previous mentors. She's been involved with the STEM program, but now in this new role, I'm very confident that she's going to help us take the STEM program to the next level. So, welcome, Emily.
Good afternoon, everyone. Let's try it again. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
It's better. Now I know that you did have lunch. It is truly my pleasure to be here today. I am a big fan of this program. I've been with the program for 3 years, or since its inception, and I've had various groups of students that I've been mentoring. And even this summer, I had, for the first part of the summer while I was still a faculty, until June 30th, I had my own group. Shout out to you guys, you did amazing. And, I'm sorry I could be with you starting July 1st, but those were the rules of the game. So I'm standing here really to congratulate every single one of you on the amazing experience that you've had this summer. And it was truly special for many reasons. You've learned tremendous amount of things. You established new friendships. You've experienced crazy frustrations on getting something to work, or to work right, eventually. You've lived through celebrations, and some of you got a chance to travel, others got a chance to compete, but every single one of you, regardless of what you did this summer, will always remember this experience. And I know this for a fact. I'm just reading my notes, I'm not texting. I know this for a fact because I know this program will continue paying dividends. You will remember of this summer, and you will tell the stories about the summer at your next college's interview, at your job interview, at your networking sessions somewhere down the road. You don't even know when the opportunities will come up, when you will get a chance to share what you've lived through and what you've experienced today. So following Lewis's steps, I also would like to take a minute or so to really thank everybody. And I'm going to do it by numbers since this is the quantitative crowd, so numbers are okay to use. Let's try to make it interactive. I'm going to show up a number and you try to guess what this number represents. So who does this number represent more specifically? 1. Who do we have as 1? Louis. There's only one Louis. He is this program, if you think about it. If it wasn't for Louis, this wouldn't have existed. Okay, how about this? 14. Say it out loud.
Faculty mentors.
Faculty mentors. If you're a faculty mentor, please stand up. From the bottom of my heart, a huge thank you to all of you. Formally, faculty members are obligated to spend 6 hours a week with students working on the projects. If you are spending 6 hours a week with your students, please stand up. Somehow I knew what the answer would be, because nobody nearly spends even half of this. I mean, twice of this. People spend much more. And it's not because they're getting compensated for it, it's because they love what they do and they love working with students. And I know there are some faculty members who are not here today, but are just as valuable to the program. And again, we couldn't have done any of it without wonderful, talented, passionate faculty. Okay, next up, 26. Very good, you're listening. 26 projects completed this summer. Very diverse, thought-provoking, mind-boggling at times. So as we all know, awesome, awesome projects. Okay, how about this one? 8. Say it again? No, it's not 8 weeks. We've been here for 12 weeks. I don't know, where were you the first 4 weeks? Good one. Well, there were 8, and well, I know because Louis told me, it's not because I'm so smart. But there were 8 mini courses that ran over summer, while in summer. I was taking notes yesterday when he was saying that. All right, along the same lines, number 4.
4 hours a day.
Yeah, right, wishful thinking.
She just talked about mini courses.
Right, I jumped, thank you. So what could be, what else besides mini courses? Thank you, say it out loud. Workshops, 4 workshops that were offered this summer along with mini courses and projects. Okay, the number 86 came up as number of students who completed the project, but there's around it, a nice big number of 100 that represents students, all students who participated in projects, mini courses, and workshops. Woohoo! To every one of them. And there's one more number, which I didn't print, but it's one of my favorites. And it's not as round as 100 or not as exact. The number is hundreds of billions. Think about this one. What could be hundreds of billions that we had this summer?
All the money you spent.
You're not that rich. Good. A little bit more. Something that has to do with you. All right. I did my homework preparing for this. I'm from computer science background, but I had to, come up strong. So this is the number of neurons that the human brain has. So all these neurons that have been involved in your brain work over the summer, and you know what? A few of them have been flying in the rooms we've been working. So that we definitely sense. And I really, really congratulate you on the wonderful work you've done. And on a personal note, I'd like to thank you once again, and I know I did this before, but I'd like to thank you once again for your tremendous input and your support during the interviewing process for the deanship that took place at the end of June. We had a wonderful meeting where you guys asked tremendously important questions. You kept me on my toes and you kept me thinking about what it means to be a dean of the STEM division. And believe it or not, I do go to these questions every now and then and rethink of some better answers that I possibly could not have thought about at the time. So students, you are making all the difference, and please continue to do so wherever you go. Good luck.
All right, here we go. Okay, so just to stay with the theme of the numbers, I do want to highlight a few, very quickly, a few numbers that are worth highlighting. So as Emily, actually, as I mentioned before, we have 84 interns working over the summer, so I want to break it down into what these 84 students entail. As you know, this is a program that was created based on the 3SP program, the STEM Student Scholars Program. And when Professor Siva, where are you, Professor Siva? Somewhere, there you go. So when Professor Siva and I was sat down and we were talking about the 3SP program, we needed to come up with a number because that number needed to be tied into a budget. Of course, as everything that we do pretty much here, there's some money involved. And when we did the calculations, the most we can come up with was 50. So that was the number of students that we can accommodate under internships for the 3SP program. So as you all know, on April 30th, we were able to open up this state-of-the-art facility, this $1 million facility. And as soon as we opened up the doors, it was overwhelming just to see how many students were interested in participating in the project. So we started getting all the applications. As you know, 3SP is by invitation, and then we receive all the applications, and we started tallying up these numbers. And we noticed that, whoa, from 50 that we were struggling to reach before, we actually reached 54 very easily, 54 for this summer. So out of those 84 students, 54 of you are actually 3SP students, STEM student scholars. We also have 7 Title V students from the Pathway Scholars. Barbara, where are you? There you go. So Barbara, we've been partnered with Title V to work together, and they have been tremendous help. So thank you very much for the awesome pair of hands that you guys have provided. And of course, so you do the math, we have 23 more seats that we were able to offer to other STEM students. So overall, out of the 84, so 7 were in Title V, 23 were STEM students, not part of the 3SP program, but very, very close. And that's the part that I felt so bad, that some of the students were so close to make it to the criteria needed to become a 3SP student, and we're able to offer it to 23 more students. So once again, you guys did an amazing job. So from those 84 students, mainly the 3SP students, there's a few things that I want to highlight. So there's a program, a very, I think it's a bit underrated program that the state of New Jersey runs. It's called the New Jersey State Governors, STEM Governors Program. So this is the program that all of you, all my interns, should have received a notice from me excuse me. In terms of application, this is a competitive program that every student in the state of New Jersey, regardless of your academic background, high school, community college, four-year institution, graduate level, even PhD students have access to. So I spoke with the lady, the program director, Rebecca LeBeau, and then she gave me a few numbers that I was very impressed to hear. So over 500 people applied for the program. Only 15 student leaders were accepted. 15 statewide. Out of these 15 students, only 3 of them were from community colleges. So when I heard that only 3 were from community colleges, oh, what are the chances that we have? Well, all 3 were from Bergen Community College. Not only all 3 were from Bergen Community College, all 3 were also part of the 3SP programs. So, Adele, Manny, Jean-Pierre, please stand up. Congratulations, guys. So they have a pretty busy year. There's a few events that they have to attend. They're going to become mentors now to about 5 to 6 high school students each, and they will be the project leader of a project that will be conducted throughout the year. So hopefully for next STEMC Square, you guys are going to be presenting that poster and bring your high school mentees, and you'll be presenting your project. So once again, congratulations and good luck in the upcoming year. And other ones that I want to highlight, and it happens to be within the same group. So we have another very competitive application process to a very well-known, actually, program from NASA. This is the NASA Community College Aerospace Scholars Program. Again, as you can tell, if it's a NASA program, it must be very competitive for all the students applying. So one of those students happens to be a 3SP student. And once again, Jean-Pierre, congratulations. So Jean-Pierre already went through a series of essays and trainings and all these things, and I believe he's actually going to one of their facilities. Which facility are you going to?
To the Wallace Plant facility, Virginia.
So he's going to Virginia to one of the NASA facilities. So congrats, Jean-Pierre. Try to sneak a couple of pictures in there so you can bring it back to us. And last but not least, there are many other awards, there are many other accomplishments that you guys are receiving in the past. The biggest scholarship ever awarded in the United States is the Jack Kent Cooke Foundation Scholarship. For the past, actually 6 years, all these recipients have been students that have been involved with the STEM program. So I think we found the magic equation here. But just to highlight the last 2 years, these have been students that have been also 3SP students. That was Elda Perret, and then last year, Lindsay Nanja. So that's another highly accomplishment from the 3SP program. These students are doing amazing things out there, and I'm very happy to know that there are people out there actually appreciating and rewarding all your hard work. So the last thing that I do want to highlight is another competitive internship and shadowing opportunity at the Hackensack Meridian Health Pascagoula Valley Medical Center, which one of our students was lucky enough to make it. Well, actually not lucky, she actually deserved it based on all her achievements. So Adele Turca, congratulations. You can get out, don't be shy. Thank you, Adele. So Adele usually sends me every week, she sent me her little schedule of what are the things that she was going to be shadowing. I was so envious when I saw that. She will be watching anything from open heart surgery to birth, anything that you can imagine. She was shadowing all these doctors. So Adele is going forward to perhaps a career in medicine. So this, I'm sure that is an excellent opportunity for her. So as I said, many other awards, maybe I'm not mentioning something that I haven't heard of, but I'm sure that all of you guys are rather in that path. So if you haven't received something yet, I'm sure it's coming. So make sure that you keep applying. Make sure that you keep looking through all the opportunities. At any time that we hear opportunities, I'm going to be passing along that information to you guys. Make sure you do not sell yourself short. You deserve all these things. Make sure you apply to everything that we send your way. Okay? All right, so without further ado, let's get started with the actual program. So the way that we set up the format for this year is I'm gonna introduce the teams, I'm gonna introduce the actual project, and I'm gonna let them tell you virtually what they did over the summer. So let's get started. Assuming that we have audio. First project I want to introduce is the agricultural irrigation. This is Javier Marte. Javier couldn't make it today because he has finals, of course. Welcome to being a student during the summer. But I do want to give Javier the chance to introduce his project, along with Javier and also Ika help him out.
We started this journey to introduce a machine that can revolutionize the way plants are taken care of. Something that can integrate everything we use on a day-to-day basis. A machine that can be able to predict how much water a plant needed. A machine that could harness some of the most complex algorithms and apply it to an organism. A machine that could track all of its data and be used for other groundbreaking research. We saw how plants were constantly being mistreated. We wanted to intervene and put our mark on the world and stop the cycle from proceeding. Because it's up to us to decide whether the next generation will have a better place to live.
So I do want to give also a shout out to Kim Hook, who is the official video editor of the STEM program. So Kim is the one. Kim is also a student here at Bergen, and Kim has been doing an amazing job for us. Any kind of event, any training, any meeting, Kim, be there so you can record and you can do some editing. And she's been doing an amazing job. But another side thing from these videos, just to give you a quick overlook about the way that it was done, I told the students, I want you to create a 1-minute video. Oh, but what should I put in there? I'm like, just give me a quick overview, something that is relatable to what you've been doing. As I started receiving these videos, I'm like, these guys, if something doesn't work out in the STEM field, you definitely have a chance in the film industry. Some of them were so dramatic, some of them were very fun, so hopefully you guys enjoyed as much as I did. So let's move on to the next project. It's the anthropomorphic robotic arm. This is presented by Patrick Hanna, Jean-Marc Talinden, Alex Cortez, Joao Marcos Sosa, Tommy Capalbo, Farai Chikeki, and the mentor for that project is Bruce Benjamin.
So I've been working with a fellow team member, his name is Marcos. He's been mentoring me on working, finding out the thermal conductivity of the materials that we have.
So I just drilled this hole larger for the extruder nozzle. What we found out is that our current nozzle size was too small, so we're actually going up a little larger.
We're the anthropomorphic robotic crew. Our idea is to create a human-like arm that's atomically proactive, functions exactly like a human arm.
So guys, just so you know, we're gonna have a Q&A session at the end. I do want you to possibly take notes, any potential question that you might have regarding any project, please jot it down because I do want to put everyone on the spot. I want every student to potentially get at least one question. So be ready to ask one question. If not, I think Patrick is on today. Patrick, there you go. So Patrick is our default question maker of the project. The next project, we have the atmospheric particle sampling with a high altitude balloon project, presented by Ian, Zachary, Gregory, Malcolm, Gary, Vito, Svetlana, and the mentors are Professor Paul Griffo and myself, Louis Abreu. And Josh? Josh Gerbeler. Sorry, you're not there? Okay. Remember about the drama thing that I told you guys about? Project, composting rocket, turning food waste into healthy soil, presented by Di Young Choi, William Samanes, Mallory Atareki, and the mentors, PJ Ricardo, and myself, Louis Abreu. That's the rocket that's behind the cafeteria.
Why do you throw all the allergies? This is allergy. We need to study soil.
Sustainability is the key.
All right, next project, Deep Learning and Accelerating Breakthrough in Medical Imaging. Presented by Tae Kim and Ramya, and the mentor is Jake Dines.
Multiple sclerosis is an autoimmune disorder that causes inflammation in the central nervous system. This inflammation strips the protective myelin coating the nerve cells, causing scars known as lesions. MS is a debilitating disease, often difficult but crucial to diagnose early to monitor disease progression for a chance of early treatment. The preferred method of diagnosing MS is MRI. This method is time-consuming, suffers discrepancy between symptoms. Instead of hand engineering features that are time-consuming and not staple in practice, the key insight of deep learning is to extract and learn patterns automatically from raw data. It has suppressed human level of performance of accuracy and faster analysis. Vision is one of the most important human features. Convolutional neural networks method is inspired by the biological visual cortex that have been shown to adapt to implicit medical images capable of extraordinary complex tasks in the areas of lesion detection.
Project is the Computational Materials Project. This is presented by David Gordon, Jean-Pierre Alvarez, and the mentor is Dr. Neil. didn't understand what's going on, don't feel bad. I've been working with them for 12 weeks, I have no clue. All right, next project. I would like to introduce the electric sports bike. This project is presented by Mikhailo Malko, Jamil, Aslan, Patricia, Erin, Edgar, Ayun, and Adrian. And the mentor for this project is Mark Balseret.
The main goal of this project is to make a lightweight and efficient street legal motor vehicle.
I did the 3D model of this motorcycle Fusion 360 software. Over here on this card we have our 72 volt 30 amp hours battery, which is lithium iron phosphate batteries. Whenever the current draw is going to be flowing through the battery, from the battery through the motor, the current is going to split in 3 ways and therefore reduce the amperage of every single wire. Charger is going to get mounted above the wheel on the frame, and whenever anybody wants to charge the motorcycle, this is a regular AC output charger, so any household outlet will be suitable for this charger, and anywhere you go, you'll be able to charge your motorcycle by opening the seat and then plug it into the household outlet.
Remember to jot down those questions because I'm already thinking of a few. All right, next project is the electric vehicle conversion project. This project is presented by Ayun Young, Michael Lopez, Armando Pepin Rosa, John Mark Tellindan, and the mentor is Professor Grosinger.
Hi, today we're at Berkeley Community College. We're on the electric vehicle crew team project. This is a truck with the gas engine out, and we put the electric motor in. This is a custom-made bracket that we made right here. Jan put it together. Here is the electrics, and then underneath are the batteries. Boom, right there. And you'll see us crane it in. Like that. All we gotta do is weld it in here, here, here. Yeah. Go underneath here. The wheel's moving. Good.
All right, next project, Project Gerardo. This is presented by Donaldo Viva, Ika, and Javier Marte. The mentor, Emily Vandolowski. Exercise supplements presented by Teresa Cruchada, Nadine McManus, and the mentor is Julie Seta.
Oh, what's going on?
Hey, I see you're working out. You should really try this protein bar. You're gonna get like so many more gains if you take that.
Really? Power crunch? What's 13 grams of protein gonna do for me?
Alright.
Have you ever wondered if taking workout supplements will actually improve your results? Protein is a popular supplement used to gain more muscle. Our study will be comparing the muscular growth of participants who receive Garden of Life vegan plant-based protein powder and those who receive Silly Cow hot chocolate mix as a placebo. Every participant will receive the same 8-week workout program. There will be 6 workout days in 1 2-week cycle that focuses on 9 different muscle groups. Muscle gain will be analyzed by assessing weekly body weight and growth measurements. We will be recording the initial and final fat percentage of each participant using the 4-site skin fold method.
All right, next project is the facial recognition for home security, presented by Lakey Reynoso, Malcolm Schuler, and the mentor is Bill.
Facial recognition is something that is used by tons of different companies, including Apple, Google, Facebook, and so many more. We wanted to essentially prove that we could make facial recognition working on our own and make it as affordable as possible. Through this project, we have learned a lot about Python and OpenCV, and we're still learning about deep learning as well. We've also been exposed to code that we would have normally never been exposed to as well. So this is just a great project to learn.
One thing that this project allows us to do is to write code that affects the real world directly. Instead of looking at an output in the screen, we are looking at an output in the real world, which is something that many classes cannot give us. So another thing that this project has given us as well is the ability to adapt. We have had to change our whole plan from the beginning because the method we were using wasn't reliable or good enough, and we have to change to a more cheaper, easier, better solution.
Let me try to get this right in one shot. This is the frequency of antibiotic resistance and sensitivity to antibiotics and natural oils in bacteria isolated from human and environmental samples. Presented by Erica Hernandez, Sarah Hernandez, Lindsay Nanja, Valeria Correa, Mina, Ria, and the mentor is Dr. J.
Antibiotics are used to treat bacterial infections, such as gonorrhea and pneumonia. Misuse of antibiotics causes many of these bacteria to evolve and become more resistant, so when people get sick, treatment becomes ineffective. The purpose of our investigation was to determine the antibiotic resistance of common bacteria on the body and everyday surfaces. We took the study one step further by examining their genes as well. Testing results were demonstrated by measuring zones of inhibition around antibiotic discs. The clear zones indicated sensitivity. No zones showed resistance. In some cases, after sensitivity was detected in bacteria, further incubation demonstrated that these bacteria developed resistance and continued to grow onto the disc. B and C show these mutations. Overall, novobiocin was the most effective antibiotic in our study. Some of these bacteria showed presence of antibiotic-resistant genes. The most prevalent was MEK-A, which changed the chemical makeup of its cell wall. This research emphasized the importance of using antibiotics properly.
Our next one is the impact of mindful meditation of critical thinking skills, or EEKG, presented by Tai Kyung Kim, Adele Turco, Dan Biche, Sarah Hernandez, Erica, Tai Kim, and the mentor is Dr. DeLauro.
Hello everyone, we are the EEKG team. We are experimenting how effective mindfulness meditation is for critical thinking problems. There will be 2 main groups. The control group will be given 10 multiple choice problems, and the experimental group will go through a guided meditation before solving the same problems to test out our study.
We are using 2 main software programs, BioPack and BrainMaster, which are connected to 4 different biofeedback instruments: EKG for heart rate, EDA for sweat gland activity, respiratory transducer for heart ventilation, and EEG for brainwaves.
The placement of the electrodes in specific areas of the body and EEG cap yields the graph readings.
We are hoping to see an evident correlation between meditation and enhanced test-taking skills. We will be furthering our research study by going into the experimental phase with more human subjects in the upcoming fall and winter semester.
I'm going to help you guys out a little bit, the EEKG program. Where are you guys? Where's your, I see Tay, where's everyone else? Okay, so we'll be looking for volunteers to help us out with this during the fall semester. So if you happen to have some time and you're looking for ways to release your stress, they might be able to help you out. So please be on the lookout for a call for volunteers. Next one is the implementation of parallel processing on a desktop cluster, presented by Vinny Bacheri, Cesar Hernandez, Simon Keith, Lakey Reynoso, and the mentor is Bill Madden. IT people here and networking people are here, so hopefully that last slide that show all those clusters, maybe we'll get there at some point, right, Tim? All right, next one, the investigation of biochemical properties of curcumin. This is presented by Alex Griffith, Hadassah Haricha, Hadil Darshwin, Heidi Mohammed, Genimatu Sawadugu, Victor Paukar, and the mentor is Dr. K.
Our project is the investigation of biochemical properties of curcumin. Curcumin is the chemical compound in turmeric responsible for its well-known medicinal properties in yellow color. It is a known anti-inflammatory and anti-cancer agent. In addition, it is also a UV blocker. Many UV blockers and sunscreens today are carcinogenic and absorb into the body through the skin. If curcumin is used as a UV blocker in sunscreens, it is effective, but it stains the skin yellow. The goal of our research was to modify curcumin's chemical structure slightly to decrease its pigment qualities while retaining its medicinal and UV blocking abilities. Chemical structure of the molecule affects its color. To make curcumin less yellow, the diketo groups can be reduced to a diol. To make the structural change happen, we used alcohol dehydrogenase, or ADH, which is an enzyme that occurs naturally in yeast. Curcumin was reacted in 2 different trials, one with yeast and one with just ADH. Both resulting solutions smelled strongly of tropical fruit. This new chemical showed comparable UV blocking ability compared to curcumin when concentration was taken into account, but did not stain the skin as it was significantly less yellow. While we do have a workable trial, there is still progress to be made in further purifying the compounds created.
Alex, if this whole chemistry thing doesn't work out, you might have a shot at an auction, the auction guy. All right, next project, we have the James Rose Center Restoration, presented by Nicole De Rosa, Jaime Campolo, and the mentor is Kevin McNeil. James Rose Center is actually very close by. It's almost like walking distance from here. It's right there in Richwood. I'll make a few comments when the Q&A session starts, but I believe it's open to the public, so if any of you would like to visit, they'll be more than happy to host you guys. All right, next one is the Medical Mainframe Database, project presented by Tyler Simsky, Caitlin Mooney, Andres Gonzalez, Michael Hernandez, and the mentor is Alan LSQ.
Mainframe Medical Databases and you.
Hello, we're the Mainframe Medical Database team, and we're here to share some information about our project. So for starters, this is a mainframe, but we don't get to physically interact with this. Instead, we work on ZOS, which is an operating system inside the mainframe. And like any other operating system, it uses software applications to accomplish tasks. We work with an app called DB2, which is used to create and manage databases. We started our process by collecting data sets from the CDC. We then created a model for our database using a software called Irwin. We then used FTP, or File Transfer Protocol, to send it into the mainframe, followed by formatting that data with our own custom-made assembly program. Finally, we loaded our data into our database and are now able to query our data to gather statistics on all possible trends and correlations.
Thank you for joining us in Medical Mainframe Databases and you.
Now that I took you to 1984, let me bring you back to present with Ocean Green Straw, project presented by Erin Brett, Patricia Pogivsky, and the mentors are Ara, Dr. K, and myself, Luis Debreu.
Waste poses as a critical threat to wildlife and the ecosystem. Over 2,000 tons of the U.S. borders are filled with plastic straws.
Our goal is to create a paper straw that is allergen-free, wax-free, gluten-free, GMO, and BPA-free, as well as being biodegradable.
There is only one main American-based company that manufactures paper straws. Right now, we are testing paper straws from multiple companies to see if their claims are true.
We want to determine whether the durability is dependent on the temperature, the acidity of the liquid, diameter of the straw, or the saliva contact.
We are Ocean Green Straw, and our project is about eliminating the use of plastic straws with an enjoyable, eco-friendly paper straw.
All right, next one is the Osprey project presented by Milena Forrest, and the mentor is Professor Charles Sontag.
It is currently thought that the ospreys, who migrate annually to the breeding grounds of New Jersey's Sandy Hook Peninsula, are returning to nests located atop fabricated nesting platforms, created as part of conservation efforts to stabilize populations formerly under threat. Evidence supporting this view has been largely acquired through observational research dating back to 20 to 30 years ago. However, whether ospreys prefer fabricated platforms or other suitable artificial nesting sites is currently unclear. By conducting a peninsula-wide census of osprey nests, the current observational data results show ospreys nesting almost exclusively in chimneys, with the exception of one artificial platform. This is in contrast to what previous data has shown, and these results also have implications for understanding not only why certain nest types are preferred, but the role of the sentinel bird at Sandy Hook as well.
Next one is Project Iris. This project is presented by Manny Akpatil. The mentors are Dr. PJ Ricardo and myself.
Hello everyone, I'm Manny and I'm doing Project Iris. And to start the project, I will show you a brief overview of what the cane is supposed to look like. You can see that is it. And now we will go and look at the camera, which is the cooler parts. Here you can see me standing there, and the depth of the field is being calculated by the Intel RealSense camera. And as an upper person comes into the frame, as he walks closer to the camera, the color changes, as in the closer you get, a different color spectrum will be shown to represent the distance. And that'll be able to warn the person with the cane based on vibrations. And now you can see these people can also be represented as a body of skeletons, and this would help distinguish between a chair and a human, and it would help the person who is visually impaired to have that information so they can navigate more easily throughout.
Thank you for that, Manny. Right, next project is the STEM Student Union Robotics team, presented by Deepa Banjara, Tyler Martinez, Charles Huffman, Javier Martet, and the mentor is Bruce Benjamin.
Vex Robotics, the company and organization that run both competitions and the products that we make. This is a great example of our robots as if they were in an actual competition match. Here is a great example of 3D printing used in robotics. This is a Vex cube used as a main piece for the competition. And here is the final product. Here is Deepa working on our program for our robot using Robot C and an Alienware given to us by Bergen Community College. This here is the major aspect of focusing on both extending our robot's capabilities between automation as well as between driving and controlling. Lastly, we focus on the lifting mechanism as well as our actual full robot design for a super truck. And thank you for watching.
Presentation is the Shadowing in the Dental Hygiene Clinic, presented by Teresa Cruzada, Jacqueline Gonzalez, and the mentor is Michelle Keon.
I'm being a patient at Bergen Community College.
Good morning, welcome to Dental Hygiene Clinic. Follow me. Here's Jackie waiting for the dentist to start their examination. They will examine her mouth intra and extraorally. The doctor will examine the tongue and the inside of the mouth looking for any abnormalities. Next, the doctor can examine the teeth and gums. They look at calculus levels, gum health and recession, cavities, assess landmarks, and previous dental work. Once the doctor has completed his or her examination, the hygienist can now continue on with the cleaning. When taking x-rays, it is important that the patient and hygienist are protected from the radiation. The patient must wear a lead vest. The hygienist will set up the patient and exit the room before taking the x-ray to protect himself. Jackie in the sterilization room, stamping our sterilization bags for all the utensils and that these tools are sterilized for patient use.
All right, next one is the social hierarchy in Eastern Gray Squirrels, presented by Chloe Ennis, Young Yun. The mentor is Charles Sontag.
We are looking for evidence of social hierarchy in Eastern Gray Squirrels. To do this, we leave food out for the squirrels to forage, specifically peanuts, in a bird feeder on campus here at Bergen Community College. Approximately 15 feet away on a tree is a game camera attached to it. It is set to take 10-second motion-triggered videos. Food is left out daily for the squirrels, and the camera is set to capture any interactions that might happen at this feeder or in its range. Data collected so far has concluded that there is an interspecies aggression when foraging for food, which does show signs of social hierarchy within the species. Future goals for this project is to record and observe the social hierarchy of squirrels in the presence of humans, and to further observe what type of relationship the species of blue jays and squirrels have between each other.
Can't wait until Chloe comes up with a social hierarchy, because the squirrels are always fighting in my backyard. I want to see what's going on back there. All right, next one is the Summer in the White Coat. It's the Stuart Alexander Summer Internship Program, presented by Adele, and the mentor is Jessica Hill.
Hi everyone, my name is Adelaida, and this summer I was an intern at Hackensack University Medical Center at Pascagoula Valley Hospital. The Stuart Alexander Summer Internship is a 6-week program that helps pre-med students to understand better their passion for medicine and also what their specialty they might get into. This program was founded by the hospital, and it was in honor to Stuart Alexander, who was a physician here in New Jersey, graduating from Columbia and serving during World War II. One of the most unique parts of the program was the fact that we were shadowing so many doctors over over the whole summer. We started every day within one specialty, and by the end of the summer, we were over 20 specialties. And we saw cool cases like baby deliveries while rounding in OBGYN, and sometimes cancer removal from the faces during plastic rotations, and other peculiar cases in the ER, for example, delirium tremens. But in addition to that, there were also very practical things like suture labs and cadavers labs, which were super fun for us. So
we're almost there, guys. 2 more. Next project, TINA, an open platform for musical production and live performance, presented by Joshua Gerbler, Thomas Jung, David Gordon, and the mentor is Professor Epstein. Yes, we are making a synthesizer, and make checks payable to the STEM program, please. Thank you. All right, next project is the Witten College Transfer in TensorFlow, presented by Felici Sacco, and the mentor is Emily Vandelovsky.
Hello, this is WCT-TF for mobile and web. WCT is the Witten color transfer algorithm that's used to transfer the style, color, shading, lighting, and texture from any image to any other image using an artificial neural network based on the human visual cortex. We used this type of artificial intelligence to create beautiful paintings and videos like these, on top of which we are trying to optimize our code and make it run on websites and therefore run on mobile devices.
All right, the moment of truth. Questions? Don't be shy, guys. Let me see those hands. Patrick, where are you? All right, guys, any questions, comments, challenges, potential room for collaboration? There we go, Patrick. That's what I like.
I'll start us on there. Yeah, so my question is to the AKG group. You said you were going to have 2 separate groups, one control group and one experimental group. The control group was going to be given just 10 multiple choice questions to answer, and then the experimental group was going to have the same 10 questions but with guided meditation first. How do you account for differences in individuals in the 2 groups?
Great question. Who wants to tackle that? Tate? Got it? Good.
Hello, my name is Tay. So, how are we going to tackle the individual differences in group?
More specifically, how do you have a baseline for your experimental group if you're simply giving them guided meditation? And how is that different from the control group, which is not being given their guided meditation?
Well, first we're going to do random sampling so that everyone, even if there are differences, if we have enough subjects, our volunteers, then the differences will equal out. And our design is like, we're going to be recording them throughout the whole experiment. So even maybe before we give them a test, we're still going to be recording. And let's see. I'm trying to think of your question again. So
basically, you're going to have your control group is on
Yeah.
Control whether the issue that I see is that control group is not the same group as the experimental group, so you don't have the same baseline.
Right, but we can't have the people who are doing control do the experiment. We can't have them do 2 times because they already went through it. So yeah, we'll have to put them in separate groups individually.
How would you account for the difference?
Do random sampling. That way it equals out. The differences really doesn't matter as long as you have a lot of subjects.
Any other questions? Yes, Alex.
I have a question for the exercise supplements group. Over there. I was wondering, what's your sample size and how are you going to keep this statistically significant?
Hi everyone, I'm Teresa. So our sample size, we are currently taking 20 people. We want to split it 10 per sample group. Now, in speaking of whether if it's statistically significant or not, from taking stats, I know you need at least 35 participants. But we're doing this first to see how it goes and if we even get results, and then hopefully we'll be able to grow and do 35 participants because we're only tabbing one day where we're going to look at results. And I'm a student, I'm a full-time student, everyone else has jobs they're teaching. It's going to be hard to do all these measurements on everyone, especially 35 people for the first time to go around. So we're just limiting it to 20 for the first time.
And Teresa and Nadine are also recruiting for any student that's going to be here in the fall semester and the spring semester that can potentially join the EdSubs program and help them out with the collection of data and reading the data as well. Got it?
I have a question for the facial recognition group based on a recent news article that suggests that jugalos, fans of the Insane Clown Posse with their face painting, are able to defeat those type of programs. What might be a possible solution for recognizing the jugalos?
What are jugalos?
That's a very good question.
Okay, fans of the Insane Clown Posse paint their face in white and black, and as a result, they're finding that they're having trouble recognizing these individuals, and since some of them get rowdy, they're finding that it's difficult to recognize who are the rowdy fans because of their face painting. I guess it's also probably expanded to Kiss fans as well. They gotta rock and roll all night, so how do you tell when they're partying every day? Okay.
I really wish I had read that article. But let's go with what I know. Okay, our facial recognition for now, it's simple, yet we're using 2D recognition, so we cannot analyze depth. So for example, the eye socket, we cannot analyze that. We can just analyze a little bit of the surface. We're working on that for now, so that thing will fail definitely in our facial recognition. And you can even put a picture of someone and it will detect it as a person. So we are working on it yet. We're not getting into the 3D yet, but the makeup one, I had an idea. Maybe you can detect color scheme, and like color schemes that are too extreme will not be detected. There's many ways of modifying numbers to detect not detect something you don't like.
Next question. Come on, guys, I want to see those hands up. There we go.
Hi, I'm going to ask a general question to really anybody who wants to tackle it. If you had to do it again, how differently would you approach it?
Very good. All right, who wants to tackle that? Lacey? All right, have.
Well, for one thing, with 3D printing, what we need for the HAB team, probably measure twice, print once.
Yeah, I can appreciate that. What else, guys? If you have done it all over again, what we have done differently?
I have Alex Griffith, I'm from the curriculum team. There's a lot of things we could have done differently, but I have to say, we wouldn't have known to do those things differently. So it's hard to say, oh yeah, would have changed this because the mistakes that we made taught us so much. So I would say we wouldn't really have changed anything, except for, curriculum is really frustrating to work with, so maybe I would have chosen a totally different project. But I would say all the mistakes we made were incredibly valuable learning experiences.
And making all these mistakes also serves as a learning curve for every single one of you guys, so I'm glad that you see it that way. Anyone else that would like to say anything about doing anything differently? Ron?
You choose a smaller vehicle.
Very good.
Yeah, but no, but what I would do is I would do a smaller vehicle that's meant to enter a competition. The truck is awesome because there is no electric truck out there. I mean, there's a lot of prototypes and whatnot. So it's a good pathway if someone wanted to work on this project and then take a job at Tesla or do their own project, which some students have. But it's such a large project that it takes several cycles of students, to move ahead. So that's the only criticism of my own project. I mean, it's not my project, but I'm the mentor.
Thank you. Anyone else that would like to make a comment based on that question? Any other questions? Comments? I have some questions. I'm gonna wait for those until the end. So I'm gonna give you guys a chance to ask anything else, or even make comments about it. Mainly, mine are not really questions, mainly comments about a few projects. Manny?
Can we get rid of timesheets?
Go electronic, yeah.
We have the Vice Chairman of the Board of Trustees here, Vice Chairman Carroll, which I want to say thank you for visiting. So perhaps this is something that we want to discuss with them. But it is a system that is implemented school-wide. So yes, I'm a big advocate of perhaps having an automated system, which obviously all of us are very proficient in doing reports and doing an automated system. But the fact that the entire school had that paper system, we do have to comply. But believe you me, I am fighting for changing getting rid of that paper trail. So, good comment. Anything else? Yes, Zachary?
Actually, I have a bit of a quick question for the color transfer project. Have you tried right, I know that you could use I know that you could use videos as like the input. What about say applying an animated GIF to an animated GIF, or however you pronounce those? Applying say a cartoon to live footage or something like that, or not live footage, but I guess I could word this better, but yeah, basically an animated image to another animated image. Have you tried that yet, or is that possible?
It is not possible with my engine right now. What you're asking for has been done by other people that wrote it in a different language that is Lua. But what you're asking for is style interpolation between frames. What you would do is take the average tensor from every frame in an animation, say if there's 30 frames in a second of an animation, you take the average of those and then transfer the style, and then after that create the animation. I haven't figured out how to implement that yet because it's really finicky to do. It's described so simply, but I have yet to find a practical example written in TensorFlow. It's just inconvenient.
I have a question regarding mini courses in the fall, potentially. Will those be a thing? Sorry, will those be a thing? If so, do you have any idea what they will be?
Correct. So in the past, we actually tried to run a mini course during the fall semester and the spring semester. However, because you guys have such a high criteria just to make sure that your GPA is high enough to stay within the program, we always want to see you prioritizing your academics. I do have a small requirement for you to keep up your project, throughout the full semester, which is 1 or 2 hours a week just to keep it alive. But if I also have the expectation that you're gonna have to attend an extra course for 5, 6 weeks, whatever we determine, that might interfere with your regular academics. So we can do one as a trial, but I'm gonna keep my expectations fairly low because I do wanna make sure that you guys keep your academics as your main priority. If we don't do anything for the full semester, as we didn't do last fall, we definitely will be doing at least 1, maybe 2 in the winter semester. Perhaps, I don't wanna spill the beans, but we might be working with Samsung over the winter semester. So that's all I can tell you for now.
Would it be helpful for folks to suggest? Would it be helpful for folks to suggest topics for a mini course? Because then you might get more buy-in.
Correct, and this is something that we've been doing since day one. This is open to anyone. Anyone can suggest. You guys as students can suggest a potential mini course as long as you provide a potential instructor. We did this over the summer. In fact, Dr. Sivo recommended, oh, why don't we do a microcontroller mini course? I said, who's gonna teach it? Oh, we happen to have a student that is proficient enough with microcontrollers, so he was able to do it. Same thing with a CAD-based software, and Mike was able to help us out to conduct it. So if you have someone, or even if yourself, you feel proficient enough with X and Y skill, and you can provide that mini course, by all means, nominate yourself or nominate someone else to conduct this mini course. So, good topic. Anything else? It's my time to ask questions. Oh, okay. What is your question?
For the high altitude balloon project, how's the weather looking for next Tuesday?
Very good question. This is perhaps your chance, guys, to pitch what's going on next week. Let's go, Ian. I want to hear that sales pitch. Go.
The weather is looking okay. A little bit cloudy, but we might have to move it to Thursday, but it will definitely be either Tuesday or Thursday. So if you are interested in still coming to the launch, please sign up again, or Friday even. Yeah, sorry. So if you are interested in coming, please let us know. We're providing food. We have a head count for everybody. Please.
So just to help out Ian a little bit with his sales pitch, next week, possibly next Tuesday, either Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, we're looking to do that launch. That's gonna be the main launch. Finally, we get to launch this balloon and the payload and all the different components they have put together in the payload. Now, as we all know, this is very weather dependent. So far, the forecast looks very good for Monday, but we might not be ready for Monday. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday looks iffy. Again, we're a bit, 5, 6 days ahead, so it's not as accurate. We're going to Pennsylvania, the Lackawanna State Park. If you guys happen to be available, if you're interested in coming along and help, we are looking for volunteers. We need a lot of help. I don't know if you saw those pictures when we're inflating the balloon. The balloon is very sensitive. That's very thin latex. If the latex touches one of the blades of grass, that might be enough to break. So we need a lot of handlers. We need people moving the tanks. We need people to perhaps cook the hot dogs and the burgers. We need all kind of help. So again, guys, if you happen to be available, please let us know. If you drive, I am working on a reimbursement kind of rates just to compensate for your mileage. If not, I might have somebody driving a van and take at least 10 students in the van. But again, we need a lot of help. Please, if you are available, make sure you go. And before Professor Griffo kills me, because he gave me a little sheet that I should tell you about the balloon trip information, there is still time to register for the trip. Please do that by Sunday. If you don't have the form, I'll be more than happy to share the form again. If you need the form, because you're gonna be able to join us on Tuesday, it is a whole day thing, so make sure you plan your days accordingly. Let me know and I'll give you that sign-up form. The trip is tentatively scheduled for Tuesday, August 13. However, the day might change depending on the weather at the launch site in Pennsylvania. There is a possibility that the trip may occur on Thursday or Friday next week. You will be notified by email on Monday to confirm the Tuesday trip or the rescheduled day. We will meet in parking lot B in front of the tech building on the day of the launch. The departure is 7:30 a.m. Carpooling is encouraged. The GPS coordinates of the balloon launch will be sent to you via email and will also be given to you on the morning of the trip. Hamburgers and hot dogs will be provided for lunch. If you have special food needs, please bring your own food. We are anticipating approximately $10 per person will be collected on the day of the trip to cover the food and supplies. Water will be provided, but you will have to bring anything else you drink. There is a swimming area near the place where the balloon will be launched from. Please bring towels and bathing suits. None will be provided. Thank you for clarifying that, Paul. Once again, if you guys are interested in coming along, it is a great trip. I've done this, 4 times already? 3 times. 2 years ago, we actually took a little bit of a longer trip. We went to Jefferson City, Missouri to observe the total solar eclipse. We went to the path of totality. It was a 16-hour drive, Paul? Something like that? Yeah, so this one is only about an hour and 50, depending on the traffic. So if you are interested, please, by all means, we do need your help.
Also about the balloon project. If you registered but you can't go any other day except for Tuesday, do you just email like you?
So on the form, there's an option for you guys to choose what day are you available. Okay. Make sure you only check whatever days you can make it for sure. Okay? Manny. Mr. Manny, president of the STEM Club.
I was just wondering, for all the people who participate in going to this event, can we all get 1 hour on our timesheets so that we can compensate for food?
Hold on, what timesheet with this guy?
I'm just making money, man. It's summer.
All right, so if I am compensating you guys for traveling over there, I don't know if I can also give you an hour. I'll figure something out. If you are in fact working, because this is part of the project, I'm sure that I can figure something out for your timesheet. Okay. However, talking about timesheets, being that you like to talk about timesheets, I want you guys to remember I sent you guys a very detailed email about the expectations of today, the next week, and the rest of the month. You have to read this email carefully. There's a couple of things that you have to submit. It is part of your research project, okay? Especially that report that is due. When is due? When is it due? 29, there you go. There's something else that is due today. Make sure you give us that information. It is needed to keep that STEM website alive. Make sure you read that email carefully. That's all I'm asking you. Thank you.
Also, who do we give the money to for the balloon?
Well, unfortunately, there's 1 week out of the entire year that I'm allowed to be off, and it's next week. Everything else throughout the year, I have so many different activities, events, shows, SI, anything that you can imagine. I'm pretty much part of it. The next week is the only little window I have, so I will not be around next week. So I believe Dr. Siebel has volunteered, or Professor Griffith has volunteered. One of you guys is going to be handling the money, so make sure you coordinate with one of the faculty mentors that is attending the trip on the day of the trip. Yes? No? Okay. Anything else? All right. Oh, one more. Let's go.
So just to clarify, I don't know if I need the mic for that, but just to clarify, I heard you say something about driving your cars and stuff. Are we going to be using the van to go down, or?
So in the past, I am the one that drives the van, and I usually bring along 5, 6, 7, up to 10 students. So because I am not going to be around, Ms. Randy Greeny has volunteered to perhaps drive that van, and she's going to be taking some students along. So again, if you don't have a car that you can carpool, make sure you talk to Randy. The van can only fit up to 10 students. You have to make sure you let her know early. It's going to be first. Everything good? Okay, first come, first serve basis. So make sure that you let her know as soon as possible, because again, 10 seats goes up very quickly. Let's go, Patrick. Come on, counting on you.
Can we meet there, or do we have to meet here?
Good question. If you want to go directly there, that is okay. As Professor Griffiths.
We should know so we're not waiting for it.
Correct. Remember, the coordinates are very specific. There's actually a balloon, high altitude balloon launch section at the park. I was very surprised when I got there the first time. So if you are going there, make sure you coordinate with whoever is going. Make sure you coordinate with the High Altitude Balloon team. Make sure you coordinate with the faculty mentors, who technically are going to be the responsible individuals for you guys. Make sure you drive carefully. It's a long drive. The last thing we want is for you to have something to happen. You have to sign a waiver. Make sure you sign that waiver before you take off. And again, coordinate with the members of the team.
Yeah, the address is actually on Waze. If you look up Lackawanna State Park balloon launch, it is on there, and it's easy to get there if you use Waze.
This has become a balloon launch pitch. See? All right, last question, because I want to be mindful of everyone's time, and it's already 2:59. When am I going to see a drivable bike? When am I going to see a drivable truck? Those are my two questions.
Yeah, so,
Go ahead, go ahead.
you got it.
Okay, but you sure you want to go?
No, I'll cover it.
We're recording you, so we're going to hold you accountable to what you say.
So far we got the all 4 wheels working. We just have to place all the parts inside the truck. So far it's looking a little bit closer to the truck.
Yeah, we're closer than ever. Everything's like a chapter, so all 4 wheels spin, but the batteries and the control circuits are still outside the truck. So, fall, spring, next chapter. We're gonna need people. We're losing some people. Jan's, what everybody's been saying, selfishly leaving. Right? Anyway, yeah. So we need some more some people to work on the truck. You know, every chapter we move ahead, and then we don't go back. So it's nice to, you know, that's basically how it works.
Are you gonna pay for the rest? So we can finish, so we can put more hours into it.
So this is becoming a negotiation thing now.
That's a good question.
Now, you know that we got all the parts 2 weeks ago, and we actually manufactured everything we need. There's only like 2 parts left to do, and hopefully next week we're gonna get welded everything together. And in 2 weeks, right after your vacation, that's gonna be a gift for you.
Okay, good. And I think that deserves a round of applause. All right, guys, that concludes the Q&A session. I do want to say thank you to everyone for sticking around for the 90 minutes of this show. As Professor Grossinger did mention, we are losing some of these valuable intellectual individuals that are moving on to a 4-year institution. You know, it is the nature of our place, this 2-year institution. We tend to lose the students fairly quickly, which is not a bad thing. You know, the fact that you guys are able to accomplish your degrees in 2.5 years, perhaps 3. But, you know, I wish you the best when you move on to your next institution. Do not forget about us. I know that some of you are staying local, Rutgers, NJIT. You know, don't hesitate to come back and perhaps still provide a hand to the research projects that you started. It will be nice for you actually to see the completion and see a tangible thing that your idea started. So once again, you know where to find us. We have a beautiful facility, S347. Feel free to stop by whenever you can. And those of you who are going to be sticking around, I look forward to working with you for the rest of the summer, as well as the fall semester and the spring semester. Faculty and everyone else, thank you very much. I do want to give the chance to our former dean and one of the biggest supporters of the program, Dr. Ricardo, to give us a couple of words before we walk out of here.
Hi, guys.
Dr. Ricardo, thank you.
So I'm going to be super short, 1 or 2 minutes. So the first thing that I want everyone to reflect on over the next couple of weeks before you start your full semester is you really have to ask yourself an important question. You had a research opportunity this summer, and some of you had one last summer. You really have to ask yourself, did I like it? Was this for me? Because what we're really giving you an opportunity to see is what would it feel like to become an undergraduate research student at a university, and even beyond that, what it's like to be a master's student or really a PhD student. And it's a special kind of person. It's the kind of person who has such a a high work ethic, that they can accept the level of failure that comes with doing real research. And that's what you guys have learned this summer. Raise your hand if you had days this summer where absolutely everything went wrong. So only in research do you go 1 for 10, right? Like when you put up that 1 minute video there was 59 other minutes of failure associated with getting 1 minute of results. But the 1 minute of results is high stakes, high reward. That's what you do when you're trying to cure cancer. That's what you do when you're trying to make a kind of electric vehicle that has never been made before. All of the research that you did involved a lot of failure just to get a little bit of success. Not everybody has the chops for that, okay? It takes a special kind of person. So really, I want you to ask yourself, is this for me? Could I see myself becoming one of these people who is willing to accept that, is willing to say, listen, it's okay for things to go wrong, because when things go right, they go really right, and I get to do something and publish something that no one else has done before. So that's what we are. We're lab rats. We like being in there, and we don't want to go home, okay? And when I've moved into the back of the STEM Center, and people are asking me, PJ, how does it feel? You were in administration for 11 years. And how does it feel to be back? And I said, for the first time, I feel like a real professor. I look out at that lab and I see students working, and I'm just so happy, because that's what your professors, that's what we love to do. So it's not a problem to come and ask me a question. If I'm in the back of the lab, my office is all the way in the back. If your mentor is not around, I'd love to try to help you find something. You don't know where a beaker is. It's not a question. You're not bothering your professor when you email them or text them or go find them. That we're here to help you. This is what we love to do, right? That's what being a professor is about. It's about the teaching, but equally, it's about working with small groups of students on these research projects. That's what we signed up for. So we're all so happy to be involved. This is what we always wanted to do. So I really, I thank my research group this summer, but I appreciate all of you. And just hanging out with you this summer has been wonderful. Thank you.
All right, guys, that concludes the program of today. Once again, thank you very much for coming, and I look forward to working with you for the rest of the summer and the next whole semester. Thank you.